Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the video, guys. Today I want to make a video talking about icons, and I truly believe icons are the only reason I play FIFA or EAFC should I say. I think to myself, icons are the beauty of the game, and especially when you've got affiliation with a certain icon, like for me Zidane or Marco van Basten, or a Cruyff, or a Jorginho, or a Pele. These type of names. A David Beckham. I grew up, David Beckham was such a famous guy. Even if you weren't a footballer, you knew the name David Beckham. And Cristiano Ronaldo, one of the most famous men on planet Earth. I just think to myself, when you are using certain icons, and maybe whilst you're playing, you've got it on mute, and you're watching, I don't know, a highlight or a tribute video, or what I usually do is this. Let's say, for example, I'm using Ferenc Puskas, or if I'm using Hullet, I'd watch Ruud Hullet, football's greatest, whilst playing, and it just gives you that extra motivation when you're playing with the cards. I want to give a shout out to Johan Cruyff, Pele and Jorginho in this video, because they were absolutely insane, guys. You see the gameplay, you see the goals, just wow. And I just think to myself, if there were no icons, and I remember I was transitioning from PS to Xbox just because when originally FIFA 14 was out, icons, or should I say at that time they were called legends, they were only found on Xbox at that time, and then it was only revamped as icons, and they were on both platforms later on down the line. But I have to say, guys, without icons I don't think I'd play the game, because I just think being a football fan, like I wasn't, because look, my parents are from Pakistan. They didn't really in Pakistan, football's not a huge sport. I'd say cricket is, hockey is, squash is. My dad taught me about them sports, and I used to play cricket with my dad. But football he never talked about. But can I just say, me and my dad, despite being not being football fans, we used to admire and cherish Zidane and R9. And whenever they played, as casuals we used to watch. And I think watching them made us love the game. So it's just only right for me to love icons. And I remember at that time, my dad used to give me a quid every time R9 used to score. And a quid was a lot of money. I tell my students all the time, for 50p, I used to get a big bag of chips. And I used to share that with 3 people. With £1 back in the days, I'm talking about 1995, 1996, 1997, 1998 time, early 2000s as well. With £1 you could buy, I'm pretty sure you could buy 4 chocolates, and they were all big chocolates. They weren't none of them small rubbish chocolates, multi-buy, I don't know what they called, not the tiny ones. No. It was great times as well. Money had value. You could do a lot more with it at that time. Houses were like 30-40 grand, a lot more affordable. Bills were cheap. I don't think a lot of people even discussed money back then. But anyway, so my dad used to give me a quid every time R9 used to score, and I just fell in love with Zidane, R9, and Zidane for me, man, I just used to love that guy so much. And in the 2006 World Cup, I watched the whole thing with my dad, and it was just so amazing, and I cherish them moments. And I remember 2002, the iconic R9 haircut. Just wow, man, these type of icons, they don't make them like that now. There's no player in the world that can compare with R9. There's nobody in the world in the centre mid position that is quite like Zidane. I just think to myself, them early days just hit different. Even if you look at boxing, I know everyone's saying Usyk, but I remember in the 90s you had Evander Holyfield, you had Lennox Lewis, you had Riddick Bowe, Mike Tyson. You had just a plethora of just sensational boxers back then. It's just times have changed, and I just think football is all about these names, man, icons. And like I was saying, when you're using an icon you love, you just play much more seriously. You play better. Honestly, when I'm playing with R9 and Van Basten and Zidane, I just take it just so much more seriously, and I really, really try my best. On the other hand, when I'm using just normal players, which I don't have affiliation with or nostalgia with, and I don't have that nostalgic feel, I just don't really care if I win or lose, or I don't even really care if I play good. But when I'm playing good with Marco van Basten and I score a volley, I'll scream the house down. Or when I'm playing with R9 and I'm dribbling past the defensive line and bursting through with that pace, I get well happy. I just get really excited. But that doesn't happen that only happens because I'm passionate about them cards. And I just think to myself again and again and again, icons are everything to this game. I think if they got rid of icons, I don't know if people will play the game, because icons are truly the beauty of the game. It's like the icing on top of a cake. It's like the cherry on top of the cake as well, guys. It really is, guys. Icons are everything. They are everything. And everybody always has some sort of icons in the team. I remember how icons used to play a pivotal role in linking, because they used to have chemistry with all cards, especially Nation. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, guys. Peace.